Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and welcome back to part 2 of What If Dalamadur Was in the Monsterverse. Let's begin. When we last left off here, Godzilla and Dalamadur, both in their higher states here, had successfully defeated the likes of King Ghidorah, but in doing so, they did it together. However, one thing has to remain here, and that there is only going to be one Alpha. And so, with that being said here, the two now look at each other, albeit they're battered, bruised, and damaged respectively. One of them is going to have to take the title via taking down the other. The scene is already set, with Godzilla and Dalamadur going to their respective sides. Godzilla getting ready, and Dalamadur coiling up in a defensive position, getting ready to strike as well here. Both or all the monsters that have pretty much made it here, Methuselah, Behemoth, Rodan, Skeela, and Muto or Barb, along with Mothra and Quetzalcoatl, both of their respective allies and mates. And so the fight is set in a Titan-based ring here. And some of the other Titans are managed to able to make it this time. We see Nikika, Tiamat, and even a few classic kaiju, such as Varan and Kumonga, as well as other titans like Abaddon, Bunyip, Sekhmet, and a new titan I made specifically for this What If, Titanus Ra, who will play a part in the new Empire story I am working on. So without further ado, let's talk about this matchup here. Both titans are ready. Even though they're still damaged, they got enough rest from, well, just being there and just standing there for a little bit, regaining enough stamina to continue this fight. And with that being said, Godzilla charges and Dalamadur does the same, both creating a massive shockwave that blows apart any of the rubble left from their battle with Ghidorah here. Both of these titans try something to gain the upper hand over the other. Godzilla tries to tackle Dalamadur, but Dalamadur is able to use his claws to dig into the ground and uses overwhelming size to actually pin Godzilla to the ground, only to get met with a, while still weakened, atomic breath to the side that still manages to push it back. Dalamadur, launching a weakened fire breath, is able to bury Godzilla further into the ground, causing him to skid across the battlefield. However, Godzilla gets up and dodges the second attempt at the fire breath and is able to ram Dalamadur into the ground. Dalamadur, using his tail, sweeps the legs of Godzilla, causing him to trip here. Using this opportunity, Dalamadur then brings his claw hand down, trying to pin Godzilla. However, Godzilla rolls out the way and goes for a tail swap, knocking Dalamadur down once again here. Both of these titans are huffing and puffing, and Godzilla tries to take advantage of this by trying to jump on Dalamadur. However, Dalamadur does something very smart. Using these spikes on his back, albeit some of them are broken off and damaged, he coils in such a way that Godzilla has no choice but to land on these spikes in order to, well, complete the pounce. And so this hurts Godzilla, his body, his foot, everything. And Dalamadur then lifts himself up, albeit he is still tired and now struggling to carry this weight on him. He's able to lift himself up and slam his back, basically slamming Godzilla onto his back as well here, and then pulls out with some of the spikes, leaving their respective scars here. And Godzilla is in pain at that point here. One false move, and that fight completely shifted. Godzilla tries to get up, but Dalamadur coils his tail around him, lifts him up, and swings him around over and over and over again. Albeit the pain of doing this still from his muscles aching is still there. And so while the swing is enough here, Dalamadur is done swinging him around and then slams him into the ground here. And this actually knocks out Godzilla. Remember, both of them are tired and exhausted. So this actually just came down to who had more stamina reserves here. And Dalamadur, being a much bigger monster, had a lot more stamina to actually continue the fighting here. Meanwhile, Godzilla, being somewhat smaller, just didn't have it. Both of them are weakened, and in all honesty, if it was a full strength battle, it honestly would have went either way regardless. But still, due to their stamina reserves being so low, it just came down to who had more in the tank here. And so, with that being said here, with Godzilla knocked out cold here, Dalamadur does not finish off someone that he respects, as now this is more or less a ally to him than an enemy. And as Godzilla gets up, he sees all the other Titans kneeling before him. However, when Dalamadur turns to him, it is not to have him bow or kneel. It's out of respect. And pretty much both Godzilla and him give each other a knowing nod, and Godzilla and Mothra go about their way, while Dalamadur simply tells the Titans to just behave. He's tired, guys. He doesn't have the, I guess you could say, time to really give out the orders here. But we now pick up during the events of Godzilla Dominion here. Godzilla is actually able to make his way to his territory far earlier than in the original. But you might say, oh, what about Skyla? What about Amalok? What about everybody's rivalry in the world here? Well, that's pretty simple. Dalmador's taking care of it. Dalamadur is able to stop a fight between Sekhmet and Ra, two of his oldest allies as well, because remember, he used to be known as Titanus Apophis until it was later cleared up. So again, he does have history with these two. He's able to stop them pretty quickly. Another rivalry he's able to stop is Yamata no Orochi and Titanus Nakika. Nakika was in the waters of the Japan water, well, of the Japanese waters and stuff like that there. And Yamata no Orochi, feeling an invasion of his territory, he and Tiamat, or he and Nakika actually attacked here. To which Dalamadur had to swim over there and, well, disrupt their beef as well. Bunya, he's just chilling, mind his own business. In fact, he's chilling with Methuselah because, chill boys. However, there is Skyla. Skyla is hungry. She wants her radiation. However, Dalamadur, due to having a much more intimidating status or a much more intimidating form than Godzilla here, is able to quickly tell Skyla, no. To which Skyla does back down, but she does make the point that she is hungry. To which, this is where Dalamadur actually tells Skyla, take the nuke and dive deep into the water. This way, Skyla can actually have her nourishment without causing a massive explosion. However, he does have to make his way to the Amazon rainforest to actually get Behemoth out of trouble here. To which, this is much easier considering Dalamadur is known for his fire breath here, and Amalok immediately backs down here. He has to stop a couple skirmishes between the likes of Rodan and Varen here, and, well, they listen almost immediately. Varen takes a little bit more of a beating from Dalamadur to get him to listen, but at the end of the day, he does listen. Then he has a territorial dispute with Kumonga and Abaddon, with Kumonga being a bit more, I guess you could say, adamant about claiming a territory, while Abaddon wants one for his or herself. I'm not sure what the gender of Abaddon was. I mean, I barely even took the time to look at the kaiju, let's be real here. And so, with that being said, here, Dalamadur is pretty much fed up with the two of them, and simply uses his fire breath to burn the territory, burning the webbing and everything. This actually ignites a forest fire, but again, Dalamadur actually utilizes the dirt beneath his tail and actually uses that to smother it. He then tells the two to go to anywhere else but here, because now he's pissed. So, with that being said here, they both scurry off to their territories, or to a different territory entirely, to where Abaddon claims her own space and Kumonga claims his own space as well here. Now, with that being said here, what does Dalamadur do after this? Well, he simply returns back to Mount Fuji, or, the Himalayan mountains, excuse me. He returns to there and actually just rests for a little bit. However, understanding that the Titans are just running around and about here, he then orders each Titan to find their own nourishing resting place and simply rest for a bit. Not only does this keep the Titans fed, but it keeps them out of harm's way. Now keep in mind, during this time, Godzilla is resting, finally getting the nap that he so desperately deserved here. And we also have Dalamadur finally getting to rest alongside with Titanus Quetzalcoatl after having a nice steamy session of mating. So with that being said here, Godzilla gets to rest, Dalamadur gets laid, and gets to rest. Everybody wins in some way, shape, or form here. Mothra also being around here, meaning that she can kinda, I guess you could say, do whatever she wants here. But, at the end of the day, it's still Mothra here. Now, we get into something else. Godzilla versus Kong. With Mothra alive, Dalamadur being the alpha here, now we have to deal with Apex. Yeah, still got to deal with that now. So Apex actually has much more of a approval from the government in this timeline than the original. Meaning that Mechagodzilla is a lot more taken care of. He's a lot more sophisticated. He's a lot more built, if you will, here. And he has a lot more weapons in the original. Due to the sheer fact that not only do they want to counter Godzilla, but they want to counter all the Titans as well here. They put everything into that here. And in all honesty, Monarch would be in on this as well here. Because after seeing Ghidorah and after seeing Dalamadur, someone that they had no registry over here, and the sheer fact that Titanus Quetzalcoatl as well is running around and about along with Mothra, and considering the amount of destruction some of the Titans did cause during their rivalries and stuff like that there, yeah, I think Monarch and Apex would be working together to get this Mechagodzilla ready, but only if these Titans get out of line, at least from the Monarch side. However, from the Apex side, they want to use this to put humanity back on top. And so, there are a little bit of those who use this opportunity to make Godzilla and Dalamadur begin to awaken here. Both of them sensing something. They think it's impossible, but they both can't risk it here. Godzilla rises out of the sea while Dalamadur uncoils himself from his mate Quetzalcoatl and tells her that he'll handle this situation by himself here. To which, when Dalamadur enters the water, Godzilla enters the water as well. And this is actually where Kong comes into play here. Now, the first encounter between Godzilla and Kong still happens. And obviously, Godzilla is toying with him. But he's toying at him at full strength now. And, well, this actually gets broken up pretty quickly when Dalamadur nudges or pretty much rams into Godzilla and gives him a look like, dude, really? We don't have time for this. To which Godzilla just kind of rolls his eyes and says, yeah, let's go. So, with that being said here, the two alphas set off while Kong gets to go to the Hollow Earth here. And in doing so, Godzilla and Dalamadur cause twice the destruction together, and both roaring at the ground or in the air respectively. They're trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Where is Ghidorah? They're trying to find him. And so, city by city, facility by facility, this begins to happen, and it happens a lot more now. Mothra even appears, and, well, she can sense it as well. And then this is where Quetzalcoatl appears, to where she senses it as well here. Understanding that the situation might be dire here, Dalamadur does not want to make the move of likely summoning the other Titan, as he knows that if he does summon the other Titans, it could get very, very hectic and very quickly. But concerning they do not have enough room or pretty much enough speed to search this terrain or search the planet, if you will, here, this is where Dalamadur does make the call to summon Rodan and Bunyip. To which Bunyip and Rodan both immediately make their way over to their alpha and both bow. To which he has them search Rodan from the air and Bunyip from the ground. They are to search city by city looking for the source of the disturbance here. To which this is where Apex actually turns off all the radars, all the, orca type senses and stuff like that, producing the same signal as Ghidorah. And so this means that Rodan and Bunyip just have to continue searching until their alpha says otherwise. To which Quetzalcoatl and Mothra also partake in this here. Now back with Kong, he's made his way to the Hollow Earth far sooner than the original here. And so he fights against, the war bats and stuff like that there. And he makes his way towards the, I guess you could say the Hall of the Kongs, or, you know what? I'm just going to call it like that. Just the Hall of the Kongs. I actually do like that name now. It just sounds good to me. So with that being said here, he makes his way there, and just like in the original, he finds a lot more. Well, sorry, unlike the original, he finds a lot more weapons made of other Titans. Now, I'm not going to spoil what these Titans are, but just know they are some classic, and some of them from respective franchises here. And in doing so, he finds the axe. It's just looking like something he would use. And so he takes it, and the axe begins to glow, and then so does the floor, symbolizing a Godzilla, if you will. And in doing so, Kong, out of curiosity, places the axe on the ground, and it begins to charge up with Hollow Earth energy. Meanwhile, Godzilla is in Hong Kong at this time, investigating any signals or any energy signatures or any signals given off by the apexes here. And in doing so, he senses Kong, and just like in the original, he charges up, and because he is at full strength, this causes way more damage than just a simple shockwave through the city. This starts leveling areas here. And keep in mind, when Godzilla sensed that, he was pissed. He was absolutely livid that this ape had found the ancestral weapon that his kind used to kill his people. And in doing so, Godzilla just simply not only blasts through the Hollow Earth, but when he hits the Hall of the Kongs, he decimates it completely here. Now again, I could say this kills, the main human characters and stuff like that there, but plot. Let's just say they're able to get into the Heathen time, and they're able to pretty much get out of the way. And in doing so, Kong is left with nothing, none of his people's heritage, except for the axe. And this drives him into anger. Feeling the disturbance and the actual shift in the Hollow Earth here, Dalamadur then orders Rodan, Bunyip, and even Quetzalcoatl and Mothra to head towards Godzilla's location. Something's wrong, and he senses it even more now. To which all, let's see, what did I say? Dalamadur, Mothra, Quetzalcoatl, Bunyip, and Rodan. Yeah, all 5 of them head towards Godzilla here. And in doing so, they're not able to get there in time before Godzilla and Kong really start going at it head to head. And I mean, it is a brutal fight here. But Godzilla being at full strength, the fight is a lot more, I don't want to say one-sided, but it's a lot more toying than it was the original here. He's not letting Kong phase him at all here. It's just fun and games to him here. To which Kong does get the opportunity to hit him with that axe. However, before Kong could even capitalize on it, because I'm definitely going to have him try to capitalize on Godzilla being down here, Rodan actually swoops in, and because of the force of him stopping, is able to knock Kong back here. This is followed by Quetzalcoatl and Mothra using her healing abilities to heal Godzilla. To while Godzilla was actually playing with him, that did hurt, and it does piss him off here. However, Dalamadur slams his tail in between him and Kong and tells them not to. While he does understand Godzilla's not going to follow his orders here, they both understand that there is a bigger threat than this just petty rivalry. However, Kong tries not to listen, or he tries to step up to Dalamadur, and Dalamadur, if he could, would sigh and just starts to beat Kong, actually disarming him pretty quickly and tossing the axe away right into the ocean here. And so, with that being said here, this is where both Monarch and Apex, who obviously set up these kaiju, actually unleash Mecha Godzilla. Alright? And this Mecha Godzilla looks a bit more of a rendition of Monsterverse well, a rendition of Monsterverse, Kiryu, if you will. He's got everything. The cannons, the Thunder Sword, probably a bit more Power Ranger-esque like, if you will, but, I think it would look pretty cool in my opinion. And in doing so, the battle between the Titans and Mechagodzilla begins here. Rodan, Quetzalcoatl, and Mothra both fly fly forward here, while Bunyip tunnels underground here. Kong, Godzilla, and Dalamadur then all charge here. To which, this is where Kiryu draws in all the energy around him here, and then just blows it like it's a giant EMP pulse here, knocking all the Titans back here. Except for one, that being Bunyip. Bunyip is able to come underneath Kiryu and actually is able to ram it into the side of the mountain that it came from here. However, Kiryu then unleashes a barrage of anti-kaiju missiles, knocking Bunyip across the battlefield. He then unleashes his Thunder Sword, about to close on it, but Kong is able to ram him to the side here, only to get tail whipped. Rodan then comes from behind and slams Kiryu head first into the ground here. However, Kiryu uses back missiles to actually get Rodan off of him, and then grabbing Rodan by the wings here, he then spins him around and throws him right into a recovering Quetzalcoatl, knocking them both out. Then next off is Godzilla, who slams his tail on the ground and charges his atomic breath, and in doing so on one way, Dalamadur charges up his fire breath on the other side, to which the two of them both blast at Kiryu here. However, before the blast can hit, Kiryu is able to put up both his arms in time, creating these energy shields. However, the shields open and both begin to absorb the energy from both of them, to which Godzilla and Dalamadur both stop and look in shock when Kiryu's arms turn into cannons, and then he launches both of their respective energies back at them, causing them to, fly back. This is where Mothra actually tries to get in there and tries to get a cut here. However, Kiryu then uses his Thunder Sword and slices through one of Mothra's wings, because she was able to kind of get out of the way in time, but still gets two of her wings clipped here. And so it looks like everything is going off for the Titans here, except Kong is now making his way towards the water. And in doing so, Kiryu does give chase here, actually utilizing the opportunity to, try and blast Kong in the back. However, Kong is able to dodge and outmaneuver most of Kiryu's attacks here, except for the energy he gained from Godzilla and Dalamadur. Putting both of the cannons together to fuse both of these energies here, he blasts Kong straight in the back, singeing a lot of his fur, and sends Kong tumbling into the water where he needed to. Kong's pretty much now searching around here, and thus he does grab the axe eventually. And so Kiryu is about to do another blast here. However, this is where Bunyip is able to clamp its jaws around Kiryu's leg and tries to pull it away from, Kong here. This is followed by Quetzalcoatl, who coils around the waist of Kiryu and actually begins to crush its titanium body. It's crushing it very slowly. And, it's still progress nevertheless, and this does cause some internal damage. However, when Dalamadur joins in, this actually is able to crush most of Kiryu, and the blast that it does launch does still go towards Kong, but it's off by a millisecond. And this is enough for Kong to put his axe through the energy blast here, and it does absorb the radiation that it can here. However, it is cracked a little bit because it did take some of Dalamadur's fire breath along with it as well. So basically, the fusion mixture does give it the atomic properties, but because of Dalamadur's more star-heated fire breath here, it does damage the axe here. And in doing so, Kong now has to make the killing blow, to which Kiryu isn't trying to let that happen, being able to brush off all these other Titans here, and Dalamadur putting up probably the biggest fight here, until Godzilla now joins in, making the fight against a 2-on-1 a lot easier, to which instead of Kong and Godzilla throwing Mechagodzilla or Kiryu through a building here, it's Dalamadur and Godzilla slamming him through a building, allowing Kong to pretty much jump in the air, all, I guess you could say like Kratos style, and just slamming the axe right through Mechagodzilla's core, or basically right through the backside of him, and then Kong easily jumps on him and rips the spine out of him, obviously. And in doing so, all three Alpha Titans simply roar to the skies in triumphant here. However, this then leaves the question, what happens to the axe here? Well, because of its spent energy and because it's been, well, I guess you could say kind of overloaded with you a little bit, the axe actually cracks and, well, it simply dissolves, if you will. However, Kong's not mad about that. To which he actually does give a, sign of acknowledge that he does acknowledge both Godzilla and Dalamadur as their respective alphas, to which Godzilla kind of brushes off Kong, while Dalamadur does give him a knowing nod. To which Kong does return to the Hollow Earth. And, well, he actually sees two beings raiding the, I guess you can say the remnants of the Hall of Kongs here. And they are none other than Sanda and Goraya, holding up some respective weapons that the Kongs made. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.